I am especially happy to present to you Nithish Prakash. He is from Corona Norco Unified School District, and he is going to talk about his project, What Antacid is Best at Neutralizing Acid. Nithish?
Thank you, Mr. Nicholas, for that introduction. So first I'd like to introduce myself. Hello, my name is Nithish Prakash, and today I'll be taking you through the steps of creating a successful science fair project. Here's a little bit more about me. I'm a sixth grader at Rhonda School Discovery. I won first place at the county science fair. I love reading, and I want to be a doctor when I grow up. Last year, I won the science fair first at school, then at district, division, and then county. So with that introduction, let's get started. This is going to be your digital notebook, which is going to be your way of showing everything that they usually have as part of your science fair project that cannot be shown virtually, unfortunately. On your first page, there should be your title, your subtitle, your name, the day you started the notebook, your grade, who was your science fair coordinator or coordinators, and your school. So this is going to be your abstract. So your abstract, as Mr. Lynn Figueroa said, is like a summary of your entire project. It's 500 words or less, and it's an essay. So I used 3 paragraphs. I talked about what my question was, what my experiment was, and then I talked about how I conducted my experiment, which supplies I used, how I did it, like each step, and then I also did the results. And I basically just walked the reader through how I did my project. So your problem is, as it is in its name, is your question, what you're going to be trying to solve. So if it's a science project, then you can follow what I did. I just said what my basic question was, why it was important, and who it would help. If you're an engineering project and you're inventing something, you need to talk about what is the problem or need, who has the problem or need, and why it's important to solve. So your hypothesis or design requirements. So there are either 2 things. Your first one could be your hypothesis, which is based on research you've done. Once you're familiar with the topic, you should make an educated guess. So I said that I predict that Tums would be the most efficient antacid because it was made out of calcium carbonate, which is one of the most potent ingredients in antacid. Of course, you're not always going to get the correct hypothesis. It's actually better to get a wrong hypothesis because then you actually learn something about why your hypothesis is wrong. So and if you're an engineering project, you need to do your design requirement, just a complete list of key features. It needs to be feasible or affordable, and you need to list your material, how much time you need, and what tools you need. So next slide, please. So your research report is basically talking about, how would I explain this? So it's like basically talking about what you did. It's like it talks about your hypothesis. It includes the evidence I found. I use citations. Then here's your procedures or your solution. So I basically just put what you needed, like how you would do it, what steps you needed to measure, how much you needed to measure, what like safety equipment you needed, and then I also told that you need to do it multiple times, over and over again, so that you could get different results. Then you have your materials, pretty simple, just what you need. So I put that you needed a measuring cup, hydrochloric acid, your safety equipment, a pH level tester, a chart for the pH level tester, something made of glass or plastic to carry the acid and do the experiment, and then you needed pills. So I basically just wrote what you needed. So your data or a prototype. So if you're doing a science experiment like me, you needed to do data. I used 5 graphs actually. One showed all of my different pills, and like the highest the highest the highest pH level, because as you know, the higher the pH level, the more base it is, and the lower, the more acidic it is. So yeah, and as you can see, I made a simple graph, and as you can see that it was Alka-Seltzer that clearly won, with it just towers upon the other ones. And then I also put like I did 5 tests per pill, so I also put like the different tests and the different pH levels we got from each test. So yeah, there was Tums, and then there was Pepto-Bismol, Pepsid, and then Alka-Seltzer. You also need to put what your x-axis and y-axis were. What happened after your test? So I put what my question was, and then I also told what happened. So I said that it was clearly Alka-Seltzer, that one. The reason was because what happened was the other antacids, they only went up to about the 0.77 or 0.8 mark, where Alka-Seltzer went all the way to 2.2. So yeah, then your conclusion. So your conclusion is a summary about everything that happened, your data, and what happened. So I said, after collecting my data, I told that my hypothesis was wrong. It was actually Alka-Seltzer that was the best. And I said that and I added something extra. You don't need to do this, but this will definitely help you if you want to go up in the levels of science fair. I wrote that Alka-Seltzer was the best, but there are a high number of side effects. So yeah. So I just added that. So we got acknowledgements. So I just thanked my science fair coordinators, Miss Tenney and Miss Erickson, for helping me with my project. Then here's your bibliography. I put what information I got, the titles, and I actually used a different project that was similar to mine. But yeah, and that talks about it. I think that's about it. So yeah, I just wanted to conclude. To conclude all, I think that the science fair is a great way for students to hone their science and writing skills at an early age. I know that the science fair has definitely helped me a lot, and I hope that helps you. I definitely hope you've come out of this presentation just a little bit smarter. Thank you for listening.